Story recapped here. Today, I'm going to explain a horror and thriller film called Darlin. Spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. Darlin, a dirty and muddied girl, walks up to a hospital, but suddenly gets run over by an oncoming ambulance. The medical staff responds quickly to the accident and takes Darlin in with a stretcher, but she suddenly wakes up and escapes by biting the doctor's hand. Darlin then crawls straight to the nursery section, where she tries to touch one of the infants. One of the nurses, Tony, runs after Darlin and approaches her with caution before grabbing her from behind and taking her away from the nursery room. She struggles away from his grip and crouches down on the floor, growling at him. Going down on his knees, Tony tries to level with her so he could gain her trust by making her feel safe around him. Then, the doctor comes up behind Darlin and sedates her. Tony isn't too thrilled with how the doctor put Darlin to sleep, saying that she's just a teenage girl. But in the doctor's defense, he says that Darlin is too dangerous. While she's passed out, Tony cleans up Darlin, since she'll be sent to St. Philomena's Catholic School for Orphaned Girls, where she'll be taken care of until they find her a family. Still, Tony isn't too fond of the idea, mentioning how the school denied him to be an adoptive parent, presumably because he's gay. Meanwhile, outside, another feral lady, the woman, walks around and finds a sleeping homeless man. She slits his throat, carves out a piece of his stomach, and pockets the meat. She then goes to check on Darlin, handing her the chunk of human meat outside her window. But Darlin just closes the window on her. On the other hand, the bishop comes to check on Darlin, the doctor filling him up on Darlin's medical records, saying that she has a condition where it seems like she wants to talk but believes that she can't. The bishop is amazed at Darlin and thinks she's a true innocent because she's completely feral and does not have or know any sin. Later on, the bishop prays, grateful for the appearance of Darlin, because converting a feral girl like her into a good Christian will be the saving grace of their school. That way, their funding won't get cut off, and it's up to Sister Jennifer to help her, having come from St. Philomena herself when she was younger. The next day, Tony drives Darlin to St. Philomena's, passing her to Sister Jennifer's care. Although she growls at her at first, apprehensive with her touch, a slight encouragement from Tony is all Darlin needs to follow. At St. Philomena's, the bishop looks at possible methods to start Darlin's reform, starting with speech therapy. But their big plan is to document the change to garner attention from the press, saving their financial situation. They then take her to the stables, locking her inside a cage so they can take a video of her acting wild. At first, the bishop says that she looks too much like a normal girl, so he orders Sister Jennifer to rub some dirt on her so that she'd look more animalistic. Because of this, Darlin starts to attack Sister Jennifer, which is just the kind of content the bishop's looking for. So he starts taking a video of Darlin, and after getting what he wants, he goes inside the cage and calms her down. He wraps a blanket around her shoulders, which Darlin seems to appreciate as she relaxes and leans on him. Moments later, Sister Jennifer takes Darlin to the bathroom and lets her clean up. Although the bishop tries to convince her that it's the right thing to do, she feels guilty about what she's doing to Darlin. Meanwhile, Darlin remembers kissing a boy in the woods as she takes a shower. The next day, they introduce Darlin to class, letting her know the rules of the school. They try to acquaint Darlin with the Bible as they recite it in class, but one of the girls, Billy, is making fun of reading it. Sister Jennifer then gives her a warning, but when Billy doesn't stop, she takes her to the bishop for punishment. Billy pleads to the sister not to take her to him, but the young nun ignores her, and once again, Sister Jennifer feels bad for doing such a thing to the girls. Back in class, they try to make Darlin read a verse. One of the nuns, Sister Grace, forces her to repeat the verse after her, starting to make Darlin feel agitated. Sister Jennifer tries to let her off the hook, but Sister Grace won't listen and keeps pushing Darlin, saying no girl is exempt from reading the Bible. After finally having enough, Darlin opens the window and throws the Bible outside, crawling out of it and runs into the trees as she takes off her skirt. Immediately, the bishop and the nuns start a search for Darlin. Meanwhile, The woman bites a cop's neck and steals his gun before sneaking inside the hospital to look for Darlin. She also mercilessly kills a doctor and stabs a clown that she comes across until she sees Tony. She takes his keyring and shows Darlin's bracelet, making Tony realize that she's looking for Darlin. He then offers to drive the woman to St. Philomena's, but it's proven difficult seeing that the woman isn't used to riding in vehicles and goes crazy inside. The woman sticks her head out of the vehicle and breathes in the air. And when the police try to pull them over, the woman grabs the steering wheel and crashes their car. Thankfully, Tony is fine, but the woman escapes from the vehicle and hides in a nearby abandoned lot where she comes across a homeless woman named Mona. The woman almost kills Mona, but stops when she calls her Darlin, which the homeless lady only used as a term of endearment. However, the woman misunderstands and thinks Mona knows where Darlin is, and the unsuspecting Mona takes her back to a place with other homeless women. While the search is ongoing for Darlin, Billy takes the chance to sneak into the woods to smoke weed and listen to music before Darlin finds her. Billy shares her music with Darlin and talks to her, and they start to bond for a little bit. Then Billy convinces Darlin to return to the school with her by taking her hand, but mentioning they can't keep holding hands because the school doesn't like it when they touch. When Darlin gets back, Sister Jennifer practices speech therapy with her by making her blow into a straw, delighted at the fact that the girl can follow the instructions. Then she apologizes to Darlin about the incident in class and tries to make up for it with a cookie. With small improvements here and there, they start acquainting Darlin more to life at the school, making her clean alongside the other girls and trying to fix her posture. Eventually, Darlin starts to talk again and read the Bible bit by bit, but she still has a lot to learn. One morning, Darlin throws up after remembering the boys she kissed before. She then talks to Sister Jennifer and asks why she was punished, but the nun isn't able to answer her question. Later that day, while the bishop tells Darlin how special she is, Darlin asks how God will take out the devil inside her. Naturally, that worries the bishop, but since he doesn't know what exactly she's pertaining to, he just tells her to confess so that God will take the devil out of her. On another day, Tony visits Darlin to check up on her and tell her that the woman came looking for her. She then tells Tony about her family, telling him that she had a sister who died after giving birth. Tony asks Darlin about where the woman is, but she says that she doesn't know, adding that the woman wants the devil inside her. Again, not knowing what Darlin is pertaining to. Tony says that she doesn't have the devil inside her. During the evening, the bishop calls Darlin over to his office, telling her that he's going to do an important test to keep away the devil. But unbeknownst to Darlin, the bishop is trying to take advantage of her and eventually gets her to undress. However, he sees a baby bump on Darlin's stomach, the one that she's been calling the devil. The bishop shows a mixture of disdain and disappointment towards Darlin's body, making him realize that she isn't as innocent as he thought. Then, when the other girls learn about her pregnancy, Darlin expresses how scared she is of dying if God doesn't save her. The next day, the bishop baptizes Darlin and instructs Sister Jennifer to film it. Because of that, Sister Jennifer realizes that Darlin is carrying a child and stomps to the bishop's office, thinking that he's the one who impregnated the girl. However, the bishop insists he never touched Darlin, saying that one of the nuns confirmed that she's already 8 months pregnant. Still, Sister Jennifer confronts him about the sins he has committed, like touching the other girls, including her when she was younger. Fed up, Sister Jennifer threatens to expose the bishop, but the man uses his position and warns her that she'll be excommunicated if she says a word about him. Meanwhile, the woman follows a couple into a maternity store and steals a baby carrier. At the confessional, the bishop makes Darlin talk about how she got pregnant. So, she says she met a guy who got into an accident while rock climbing, and that she saved him. They then slept together before the woman killed him, and she ended up eating him, but with great guilt. Darlin also reveals that she ate her sister's flesh after she died from giving birth, and while she shows remorse for what she did, the bishop feels disgusted and walks out before she can even finish her story. He then questions Darlin why she came there, so she explains that the woman sent her to the hospital so she could give birth. But Darlin clarifies that she doesn't want the baby. While at the park, the woman finds a newspaper featuring Darlin. which tells a story about how a child is taken by the church. She immediately takes the newspaper and shows it to Mona, so they all gather to fight and help the woman save Darlin. Back at St. Philomena's, the other girls help Darlin get ready for her first communion, in front of the eyes of the press and the cardinal. But unfortunately, when the girls leave her alone, she starts to drink from a bottle of bleach, determined to remove the unwanted baby inside her. During the communion, the bishop shows a video of the feral Darlin in front of the whole attendees in the church, and then calls her out, beautifully dressed in white, showing how they have transformed her. The bishop then tries to make Darlin eat the sacramental bread, but she won't cooperate for some reason. On the other hand, Sister Jennifer stands up and reveals how the bishop abuses the girls in his care, making everyone shocked at the revelation. He tries to get Sister Jennifer taken away, but instead, she plays a recording on her phone of her earlier conversation with the bishop about how he abused her when she was younger. The bishop tries to continue, but Darlin takes a chunk out of his hand, scaring the children inside the church. After that, Darlin throws up and goes into labor. So Billy, Tony, and Sister Jennifer all come to her aid. Then, as if on cue, the woman and her gang arrive at the church. Enraged, the woman takes a flagpole and drives it through the bishop's chest, killing him. Meanwhile, the homeless women start to freak out at what the woman did and immediately leave the church. Then upon getting rid of the bishop, the woman helps deliver Darlin's baby. Moments later, Darlin successfully gives birth and pleads for the woman to take the baby far away. Without the need to be told twice, the woman leaves them, walking away from the church with Darlin's child.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.